You got a question for me?
Is this just something wrong with my brain, or what is the root of this?
He had a stem cell transplant that went wrong. And I was just wondering what message does he have for me?
I have a question about my son, Jude, who is 8 years old.
I was wondering if you could do a medical scan for my father.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. I'm Julie, and I'm so delighted you could join us this week. My intention in doing this show is to provide information, insight, and comfort to people all over the world by helping to answer life's unanswerable questions. We got a whole bunch of callers on the show, and this is the first show of 2024. And, once a month on the first Thursday of the month, I always give away a free session valued at $250. And it's an hour with me. And I'm a buffet of psychicness, so we can talk about medical stuff. We can talk to your deceased loved ones. I can scan your pets. We can do past life stuff. We can do spirit guides, angels, whatever you want to talk about. And normally in the hour that I have with clients, we do a multitude of things. So I just say up front, okay, tell me what you want to talk about. And then we just go boom, 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 and cram as much into that hour. So stay tuned because I'm going to announce the free session winner a little bit later in the show. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday. It was very busy around here. I had 2 formal dinner parties, one with 14 and one with 8 the following night with the good china and the crystal and the silver and the whole 9 yards. And we had company in from out of town. My brother and sister-in-law from Chicago came in, and Jonathan, His Majesty, and his wife, Mallory, our son, Jonathan, was in. So it was just wonderful. We had a ball. Hope your holiday was good too. All righty, Chris, let's see who our first caller is. Hi, Kim.
Hi, how are you?
I'm terrific. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
You bet. Where are you located?
I'm in Exton, Pennsylvania.
Okay, where's that?
Right outside Chester County, like maybe 45 minutes from Lancaster.
Okay, terrific. Well, welcome. Do you have a call? You have a question for me?
I do. So I have a question about my son, Jude, who is 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Okay.
he's definitely spiritually connected through stories and instances that he's had at night when he wakes up in the morning. But on the other side, he also has a learning disability with severe working memory issues. So he's in 2nd grade, but he's a non-reader and non-writer. So I'm wondering if this is somehow connected. I can give stories of things that he said to us that we know spiritually, things he's revealed to us. If you want me to go into.
Please do. Please.
Okay. So his great grandparents, he has always had a connection to them. He would wake up when he was 5 years old and would tell us stories about them. And they passed away when he was only 9 months old. And he would tell us vivid memories of them. Just this week, he woke up and said, Papa Bud had the best singing voice. I can't believe he got to sing at your wedding, sitting next to Mama Mary in that wheelchair. And my husband's grandfather sang Danny Boy at our wedding. And we never showed him pictures or told him. And then about 2 years ago, my husband's dad passed away unexpectedly. And the kids were with him when they found him, but they didn't see any of it. They were in the car. And it was so unexpected. We didn't know where to bury him because there was no plans. And Jude woke up one morning and said, don't worry, I know where to bury Grandpa. We'll bury him with Maggie. And so we were all like, who's Maggie? And there's a plot in Virginia, and that's where all of his dad's family was buried. And their family dog, Maggie, is buried there. And we didn't know. We had to go to the family, my father-in-law's family, to say, who's Maggie? And so we listened and we buried my father-in-law in Virginia because of what was revealed to my son, who's only 8. And then our dog died a month later, and our dog was very, very close with my father-in-law. And I was so upset because someone made a comment to me that dogs can't go to heaven. And I was so upset about this because to me, when I die, I want to see my dog. And Jude woke up the next day and said, don't worry. Grandpop and Duke are in heaven. They look like angels, but they still have wings and they're kind of see-through, but they're them. And he's like, they're running through the green pastures. And he can vividly tell you what Jesus looks like. And we've never like showed him pictures or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's obviously connected. And all dogs go to heaven like all people go to heaven too. So whoever told you that is mistaken. They heard that from somebody and they're wrong. It's just and have you read my book, Angelic Attendants, yet, Kim?
So I just heard about you yesterday and I've been binge
Oh,
watching all of your videos today. So I already signed up to get it. So I'm super
great. Okay. Well, it describes how deceased loved ones, spirits, and the spirits of deceased pets are around us as we're transitioning, as we're dying in the dying process. And so, yeah, it's very sweet. I had a client today that we were talking to her deceased dad, and he was talking about a dog, and the dog was a beagle, and I think his name was Rufus. And I said, and that's such a random name, it sounds like a dog name, but I said, he's talking about a beagle named Rufus, and she goes, that's his dog. I said, all right, there you go. Yeah. So is Jude's learning disability? So I've got a couple things I want to mention. First of all, when I'm listening to you, I'm getting information downloaded into my head. Kim, I call it divine downloads. It's God and the angels and your spirit guides and my spirit guides and the whole crew downloading information. And I'm being led to, does that sound Southern enough for you? Being led, they say down here in Alabama, to tell you about the Irlen program. Helen Irlen, Irlen, is a woman who about 45 years ago, I think, she was getting her doctorate at UCLA, and she discovered that 30% of the population has an issue with processing light properly. It's not an eyeball thing, it's a brain thing. I happen to be one of those people. I heard her on a podcast about 10 years ago, driving home from Atlanta back to Birmingham. And I thought, holy Moses, this woman is describing me. Does Jude seem to be sensitive to light when he goes outside? Does he squint a lot? Does he want sunglasses? Does he, like if there's a bright light, does he turn it off? Does he position himself with his back to a bright window? Have you noticed that?
No, not that I've noticed. I haven't noticed that. I'll have to try and see from now on.
Okay. Well, she's got a website. It's called Irlen, IRLEN.com. And if you go on the homepage there, Kim, on the homepage, there are a bunch of different colored sunglasses up at the top of the page. And if you click on the different colors, it will change the color of the home screen. Play with that with Jude. See if one color makes a difference than another. I'm getting that if you get him tested, that the Irlen method and how they correct this is with colored lenses.
Wow.
My color's aqua. I have aqua transparencies on my laptop, on my Kindle, on my iPad, on my desktop, all of it. I have glasses and it helps the brain process more. When I was being tested, they sat me under this really bright ring of string of lights. Like floodlights. And it was so bright. It was so uncomfortable for me. I thought, I'm going to throw up if this woman doesn't stop with these lights. I thought I would be an awful spy. They just have to shine bright lights at me and I'd tell them whatever they wanted. Anyways, she had me read a paragraph and I was skipping words in the paragraph. And she said, you're just really smart. So you're getting the gist, but you're skipping words. And then she had me read this block of numbers, Kim, and I was skipping numbers. And she said, how were you in math? I said, I wasn't very good. I understood it when the teacher did the problem, but then for me to recall how to do it, I didn't remember how to do it.
Yeah.
I'm getting that's what's going on with Jude. So that would be my first line with him. It's fixable. I have so many clients whose children, they all said they had learning disabilities. They got ADD, they got whatever. And they were tested for the Irlen syndrome. And guess what? They got them glasses with these colored lenses in them. And voila, the problem went away. So
Okay, yeah,
I'm
he
being
is
led
in
to tell you
special
about
ed.
that.
He is in special ed now. And
Yeah.
we're in the process of like further testing. So that's good to know because we're trying to decide if he needs to have a special school or not.
I would get him tested, Irlen, IRLEN.com.
I
The
will.
other thing, the other thing too that's really interesting about this is I have a mom who told me recently that her little boy, who's I think 7, they forgot his glasses. They were on their way to school. He had his mom turn around and go get his glasses because it made such a difference for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
good to know.
give that a try. I think also that his intuitive abilities are being enhanced because he's utilizing those instead of just all of his regular skill sets, which I think
Okay.
are there and I think they're normal. But I
Mhm.
think this is helping enhance his intuitive abilities. So look up my children's books, Angel Messages for Kids, for
Okay.
Dogs, for Cats, and for Truth. And it will help you have the conversation about how does he know about his grandparents and his great grandparents? How does he know about the dog? How's this information coming to him? And they're picture books, so the illustrations are beautiful, but I think they can help the conversation a lot.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me know what happens, and I'll share it
Okay,
with
I will.
everybody.
Okay, thanks
Okay.
for having me.
Bye. You bet. Bye, Kim.
Bye.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Julie.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well. How are
Terrific.
you?
Where are you? I'm great.
Uh,
Thanks. Where are you
Good.
located?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, the Queen City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
Well,
that's right.
terrific. Got a question for me?
I do. I do. So off and on for the past 15 years, I would say I've dealt with debilitating anxiety and depression. Um, I was raised in a Christian, very strong Christian family. Took that faith on myself, but went through a, a time of deconstruction from that over the years. And specifically, the anxiety and depression has had a lot of um, fear of the afterlife, hellish stuff, because I started spiritually seeking and started getting into NDEs, and I would come across really hellish NDEs, and that would really kind of just do me in. And
Yeah.
um, eh, I try to get past that, but I'm just I still have a hard time that those NDEs and some of the things I've heard other people's experiences just still sit there in my brain. I'm like, well, what if? What if? I did read your book, Angelic Attendants, and that was a big help. So thank you for that. My question, I guess, is if you could do a scan maybe of me and see. I'm just really curious if this is this just something wrong with my brain, or what is the root of this? I've been just kind of chasing after healing for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Well, it's all based on what you learned as a child. We are taught by adults, whether they be parents or grandparents or teachers or whomever, about certain things that they believe, and it's all based in fear, obviously. And fear is used to control the masses. We certainly saw that during the pandemic within the last few years. And people did
Yeah.
bizarre stuff because they were so afraid and they were listening to somebody who was a so-called authority telling them to do something, and it just didn't make any sense, but they were doing it anyway. So
Right.
first of all spirits are pure love. That's been my experience in doing this work for 30 years. I've heard that thousands and thousands and thousands of times from spirit. All spirit is pure love. And interestingly enough, as you read in my book, in the first chapter, the whole reason I wrote that book was because my main spirit guide, Pope Clement VI, asked me to write it because the whole death process and the heaven and hell thing has been so bastardized over all of the millennia and used to control the masses. And it's just not true. And people are so afraid to die, and it's crazy. It's glorious. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Right.
Here's my take on the NDEers who perceive hell. That has to do with their beliefs and what they need to perceive in that NDE. When they go through an NDE, it's a different experience than the phases of transition. And I think that's where we get hung up. The phases of transition are when somebody's dying. An NDE is a glimpse of the afterlife that's being processed through their belief system.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It
Okay.
does. Yeah.
I have never, ever, ever heard from anybody who's a end of life caregiver, whether they be in an ICU or a CCU or surgery or an emergency room or hospice or death doulas or anybody like that ever. I have never heard of anybody in the dying process when they're seeing visions of deceased loved ones and pets and Jesus and angels and stuff like that. It's comforting. When they see things that are upsetting, they're hallucinating. There's a very big difference between hallucinating and visioning. So I think that's a thing to hang on to in the medical community. And Chris Kerr, Stephen, Kerr, he's an MD, PhD. He's a doctor. If you go back in my library and you find Chris Kerr, MD, if you just Google Julie Ryan, Chris Kerr,
Okay.
you will see that episode. Listen to that episode. We talk about that at length. And
Okay.
he says in the medical community, when they're seeing something that's upsetting, they're hallucinating. End of life visions are comforting. So does that
Okay.
help?
That definitely helps. Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. You are so welcome. Happy New Year. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Hi, Ching.
Hi, Julie. How are you? Happy New Year.
I'm wonderful. Happy New Year to you. Please tell
Thank you.
everybody where you're located.
I am in Weymouth, Massachusetts.
Okay, near Boston.
Yes.
Yeah. Terrific. You got a question for me?
Yes, I was wondering if you could do a medical scan for my father.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Where is he, Ching?
So he is in Taiwan. So Taipei,
Okay.
Taiwan.
All right. Terrific. And what's going on with him?
So he had a so he is 81 years old, and he had a comprehensive physical examination this past summer, but because of his age, he couldn't do an upper GI endoscopy, also the colonoscopy because of his age. So it turns out that he didn't have it's nothing critical from the examination, except for hearing loss, glaucoma, and then he is high risk for cardiovascular disease, and then he also has GERD. So
Okay.
so I've been hearing from him like at least a couple of times that he has had diarrhea, like a few days, like at least 2 times within the past like 6 months. So I was wondering if there's anything that we need to pay attention to, or maybe bring him to see a doctor for that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get him on my radar. I'm going to connect into you and go from you to Taipei
Okay.
and hook into your dad. And then I'm going to ask his permission if I can scan him.
Okay.
And if he says yes, I will. And if he says no, I won't. But we can
Okay.
still talk to his
Yeah.
spirit. So everybody that's listening, if you haven't been on the show before and heard how this works, is I raise my vibrational level to the level of spirit. I'm going to watch a laser beam come from my body here in Birmingham out of Alabama. It's going to go really far to Taiwan. I'll watch it go across the US and then go across the Pacific and hook into your dad in Taiwan. And then I'll have a hologram of him in my mind's eye. And then I'll envision shooting energy into him, Ching, and it'll be as if I'm looking at an X-ray or a CT scan or an MRI. So I want you to envision everything I describe, and everybody else listening envision the same thing, because then it's like there's a lot of prayer being said for him. We're all working together to heal, to send a healing to him when we all are focused on the same thing. So here we go. So I'm going to bounce from Birmingham. Here comes my laser beam up to you in Massachusetts. Got you bouncing back over, heading west. All right. It's going to take me a second just to get to Taiwan. All right. It's like those apps, where you see a plane flying. I'm watching the line, and it's over Arizona. It's going over California now, and then heading across the Pacific. Okay. All right. Got your dad. So, Dad, is it okay if may I have your permission? I'm talking to Ching. May I have your permission to scan you, see what's going on with your gut? He said, please do. Good job, Ching. Did you line that up with him? No?
In my mind, I think.
And your mind. Good job. Telepathic. All right. So, shooting energy from his feet up through the top of his head. He has yeast overgrowth, Ching.
Ooh.
And it's probably from some kind of medication that he's been on,
Okay.
or a lot of times if there's a mold issue in his home or someplace where he goes a lot, is he still working? Does he go to an office?
No, he's retired.
Okay. All right. So that's what's happening. What I'm doing is I'm clearing out the yeast out of his system. He has what's known as leaky gut.
Oh.
So here's some pointers. Have him stay low on the food chain. If God made it, eat it. If man made it in a factory, have him do his best to avoid it. If he's going to eat, does he eat a typical Asian diet? Does he eat like a lot of white rice and stuff like that?
He is vegetarian, and he has cut down rice for quite a while.
Okay.
And he doesn't eat sweets.
Okay. If he wants to eat rice, it's okay, but here's a trick. Have him freeze it, have him cook it, or get it cooked already. Freeze it and then reheat it. And then it's what's called a non-resistant starch, and it won't spike his blood sugar. So that'll help with that. So have him do that. Have him avoid things that are refined. He sounds like he's doing that anyways. Have him avoid fermented foods.
Okay.
Wine, beer, alcohol, kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt, vinegar, all that kind of stuff, because his gut's a fermentation factory right now. So you want to have him avoid anything that's fermented. If he's going to eat fruit, Chang, have him peel it, because there's lots of yeast on the peel of fruit. I don't expect him to peel a blueberry or a grape, but certainly, other kinds of fruit that like an apple, a peach, a pear, a plum. Do they have special fruit in Taiwan that we don't have here?
I guess, but there's some like dragon fruit.
Yeah, but you can get that here now. Yeah.
At Whole Foods, or Chinese supermarkets.
Yeah. They have it in Publix and Sprouts down here in the South.
Oh.
So, yeah, how about that? But I know what that is. But anyways, have him peel it if he's going to eat fruit. Have him freeze and reheat leftovers, because yeast gets on leftovers in the fridge overnight. And you think of yeast and mold as nature's garbage disposal. It makes things disintegrate. All right, decompose and disintegrate. So there's that. And then I would have him do the gut biome test, Chang. Go to Viome, Viome.com, and use Julie Ryan all together, Julie Ryan as one word at checkout. And he will get, I think it's 60% off. My team has negotiated a really good discount. That's going to tell him, here are his superfoods, here are the foods for him to avoid, here's everything else. And then lastly, does he speak English?
Yes.
Okay. I would do a consult, and you may want to be on the phone with him, with Dr. Maria Amasanti. It's Amasanti. Put DRAMASANTI, and we'll put it in the show notes.com, dramasanti.com.
Okay.
She's the goddess of the gut. She will help him get his gut fixed in short order.
Okay.
So that'll all help. Other than that, I think he looks good. His spirit's in his body,
you.
and yeah, he looks good. All
Thank
righty.
you.
Well, I hope he's feeling better. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All righty. We each week pick a question that somebody has submitted online. And this week's question comes from Albin from Essen, Germany. And he says, "Hi, Julie. I often talked with my late father about spirit when he was alive, but he didn't believe anything I said. He was an engineer and kept saying spirit doesn't exist. I'm wondering what he thinks now. Thanks and all the best to you in 2024, Albin." So here's my response. "Hi, Albin. To get some information for you, I energetically connected to you and from you to your dad. His spirit came right in. Our heads are like big satellite dishes and they receive and they transmit frequencies. So to get in touch with any spirit, all you have to do is think of them and boom, that turns your satellite dish head to their frequency and you can talk to them." And I just said that in my blog. So to connect with any spirit, just think of them. That tunes your satellite dish head to their frequency and opens a communication channel. And then I have in parentheses, all spirits keep the same personal frequency throughout all of their lifetimes. And you don't have to have known a spirit to when they were alive to communicate with them. I mean, you want to talk to anybody, whether you knew them or not is irrelevant. Just think of them. That connects you to their frequency. I went on to say, I then told your father you were interested in knowing what he thinks about spirit now that he's in heaven. He chuckled, his dad chuckled and said, quote, "It's been an enlightening journey, an indescribable journey, and an experience unlike anything he had ever imagined." End quote. Your dad said his fear of an afterlife, in case it was something bad, was what kept him from wanting to discuss it. He also said he hid his word behind his linear thinking mind. It was a good excuse to change the subject. Your father said he wants you to know it's beyond glorious in heaven. He's around you a lot, and he likes your new red car. Do you have a new red car? For more information about how to communicate with your dad, please check out my book, Angelic Attendants, What Really Happens as We Transition from This Life into the Next, and my online Angels and Enlightenment training. They'll help you get really good at communicating with your dad and anyone else you wish to connect. So there you go. Albin, great question. I loved it. And I hope you got a new red car. Let me know, and I'll let everybody else know that's listening. Hi, Brenda.
Hey, Julie.
How are you, my girl?
I'm doing pretty good. Got a little cold right now, but other than that, I'm okay.
I'm sorry. Be healed. We'll zap on you. Where are you located?
I'm located in St. Mary's, Georgia.
Okay, terrific. Got a question for me other than you want your cold gone?
Well, I'd really like something else gone. My husband passed away about 4 months ago. And right before he passed away, I got this rash and it's little bumps all over my body. And it's just like crazy. And I've been to 2 doctors, a regular doctor and a dermatologist, and they can't seem to help me. And I was just wondering if maybe you could help me.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you been on any antibiotics or steroids or anything like that recently, Brenda? Before the rash started?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. And what have the doctors said?
Well, they said it wasn't shingles. And the dermatologist said that if a little bump come up, to go back to her so she could draw some stuff out, but it doesn't really come up in a bump. It kind of comes up and then gets a scab on it, but it's just like crazy. And I have it on my legs, my arms, my back. It's just kind of all over me. I know.
It almost sounds like some kind of poison ivy or poison oak or something.
I know, but I haven't been around anything. I don't go out much, especially in the cold.
You haven't been out rolling around in the dirt or in the flower beds or anything. Okay. Earth, trying to howl at the moon or something. All right. Let me get you on my radar and we'll see what's going on. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading next door to Georgia. All right. Got you. Shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head. Okay. I can see that. It is some kind of, I get that it's some kind of a poison something something that you've been exposed to. What I'm doing is I'm forcing it out of the top of your head. I just learned, I didn't know this, Brenda, but I just learned that cashews are part of the poison ivy family. Did you know
Oh,
that?
really? No, and I have been eating
I
some cashews.
So stop eating cashews. Maybe you're the
Okay.
reason why I just learned that. Like in the past 24 hours, I've learned
Wow.
that. And I thought, what? Yeah, they're beans and they're
Huh.
part of the poison ivy family. Yeah. my my hairdresser, I gotta tell you a funny story about that. My hairdresser one time we were talking about, but such and such, it's all natural. She goes, yeah, but poison ivy is all natural too. You're not gonna wash your hair with it. I was
Well,
like, good
that's
point.
true.
So I would lay off the cashews.
Okay,
I
I
would
didn't eat
do
any
the
before, but
okay, I would do the Viome test, viome.com. Use
okay,
Julie Ryan at checkout. It's a poop test. You do it at home. You don't need a doctor's order, and you send it in. Sounds disgusting, and it is, but it's easy to do, and the package is pretty cool. And then you send it in, and it's going to tell you the status of your gut. That's what's out of whack. And
okay,
that's always the root cause of rashes if it's not some kind of topical thing like you've been exposed to poison ivy or poison
right.
oak. But that's what it looks like to me. Is
The
it looks like some
dermatologist,
kind of
she thought I might be allergic to something, but I haven't changed anything like detergent or anything, so I don't know.
yeah, it's internal. It's internal.
Okay,
So the other thing is Dr. Amasanti, DrAmasanti.com. I would do a
okay.
consult with her. Look in my show notes. You'll see her website
Oh,
in my
okay.
show notes, Brenda. She'll be able to reverse engineer this and help you be able to figure out what's going on with that. Quercetin in the meantime, Quercitan, I think, quercetin. You can get it at the store, with all
Okay.
the vitamins and minerals. That's a natural antihistamine, anti-inflammatory. You may want to get some of that. I order mine from Amazon,
Oh,
but you may
okay.
want to get some of that and see if that helps calm it down a
All
little
right.
bit. So I
I
hope
appre-
that helps. What I did in the meantime was it looks like a liquid. I forced it out of your body, out of the top of your head. And then I put stem cell energy, spirit working through me and with me to
right.
facilitate healing. I, I slathered you with stem cell energy, which is a light amber color with sparkles, and it reminds me of Dippity Doo. Do you remember
Uh,
Dippity Doo back in
I
the day?
do. I used it as a teenager.
So imagine being slathered in dippity doo. That's what it looked like. And then there was a vortex spinning above your head, beneath your feet, on either side of you, front and behind, all spinning concurrently to help heal all that rash.
Well,
So I
thank
hope that
you.
helps.
I
You
really
are so
appreciate it.
welcome.
Thank
I
you.
hope you feel better. You
Thank
bet.
you. Bye bye.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Great name. Love
Yes,
your name. Where are you? You look like you're out in outer space on the space station.
I couldn't get a normal background, so I'm like, I have to go with this one. I
It's
am in
beautiful.
mechanics. Oh, thank you. I'm in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay. 2 PA girls calling in tonight.
Yep, not far from Exton.
Yeah, great. Well, you got a question for me?
I do. My husband died just about a year ago, December
Oh,
29th of 2022. And
oh, geez.
we had his funeral on his 60th birthday, which is coming up January 13th. And
Uh-huh.
he was in the hospital for 54 days. He had a stem cell transplant that went wrong. And I was just wondering
Oh,
what message does he have for me,
what's his first name?
Tony?
Tony. All right, he's right on your right side. That's where they always come in. Then they stand on your right side. Tony, what do you want Julie to know? You're Julie, not me. The other Julie. What do you want her to know? do whatever you need to do for the ceremony to give you and the family comfort. He's around you. Where he is in heaven is glorious. Think of this, you do it for him, but it's really, he wants you to do what's going to give you comfort. So anything you want to do, he's game for it. He will be there. He's saying he's going to be sitting right next to you, holding your hand the whole time. He's saying that when you have people come up to you and tell you stories, just let them sink in. And don't worry about your makeup. You're beautiful, but you're probably naturally beautiful too. But he's saying, don't worry about your makeup. He's saying you may not even want to wear eye makeup to the funeral if you think you're going to cry. But he's saying, just do whatever you want to do that you think he'd enjoy. And by doing that, it's going to bring comfort to you. Does that help?
Okay.
Are you
Well,
fretting
we
about
already
what
had
to
his
do?
funeral. We had it.
Okay.
So it's been a year.
Okay.
So I think I maybe misguided you with the question because his birthday's coming up. We had his funeral a year ago. So I was
okay. I
just
thought you were having
wondering.
his funeral now.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah, no, that's all right. Are you doing a memorial service on his birthday or something special for him on his birthday?
Two of my sisters are coming into town. And then
Okay.
also I plan to have him buried at Arlington.
Oh, wow. So that's his funeral too. So
Mhm.
that makes sense. Everything I told you. Do what comforts you. Do what you think he'd enjoy. And then that's going to help you feel better. Anything you think he'd enjoy, it's going to help you.
And is
So that makes sense.
he fine? Is
Yeah.
he happy? Is he with
Oh,
our
yeah.
dog?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. He's with all your deceased loved ones. He's with all of his deceased loved ones. He's talking about something about a flower. Do you know somebody named Flower? Does he talk? He's talking about, I heard the word flower. What's going on with the flower? Is it he's saying, I'm with Flower. Was Flower a pet or
Flower.
I don't know, flower?
No.
It may not make sense to you right now, Julie, but it may make sense later if you think about it, and or it may make sense to you in the future.
Okay.
That happens a lot. They'll give us some name and then we'll say, well, that doesn't mean anything to me. And then they'll find out. Here's a great example. On one of my lives a few months ago, we were talking with a woman and her, I guess, deceased mother, I think. And she said, yeah, all the pets are with me, even the monkey. And her daughter, who, was on my live, she said, the monkey? That doesn't make any sense to me. Well, during the break, Julie, she called her aunt, and her aunt said that the woman that lived next door to their grandmother had a pet monkey that lived in the house with them. And all the
Oh.
kids used to go over and play with it. And so there's something with Flower. It's going to come to you. Flower's an animal. Flower's a dog. He's showing me a picture of a dog. Looks like some kind of a spaniel kind of a dog, like a King Charles Spaniel or somebody like that, and its name was Flower.
Huh. I'll have to ask about that.
Yeah. And when are you gonna take him to Arlington?
I just got the approval that he's qualifies to go, but we don't have a date yet. It takes 16 months.
Oh my. All right. Well, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about that funeral that's in the future. So he's going to be right there with you. For those of you that are listening that are outside of the U.S., Arlington is the military cemetery that military veterans who've passed. And it's really a huge honor to be buried in Arlington. That's where President Kennedy is buried. And, it's a very, very special place. So how wonderful that you're going to get to do that.
Yeah.
You bet. Okay. Take care.
You too.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Dana.
Hi. How are you?
How are you, my girl?
I'm good.
I'm
Thank
terrific.
you. Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Thank you. Please tell everybody where you're located.
I'm in Wisconsin.
Okay. Terrific. How are things up there?
cold. We haven't had a
It's
lot of
cold down
snow,
here.
but now it's getting cold. So
Yeah, it's
that's
cold
the way
down
it
here.
is up here.
I know it. It's been in the 30s here at night.
Yeah,
That's cold for the deep south.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. How are your pansies holding out?
My pansies are looking a little peaked, actually, but it's 60 during the day. So it's 30 at night and it's 60 during the day. So,
Yeah.
they get warmed up. It's usually when they stay frozen is when we get into trouble. But
Yeah.
thank you for asking about my pansies. Speaking of
I
flowers.
remember you talking about those. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
My question today is, in March of 2022, I had a retinal tear in my right eye that
Oh,
was
boy.
repaired.
Uh-huh.
And then in March of last year, 2023, it seemed like I might have had a tear again in the eye. After getting it examined again, I was told that the cataract in that eye had grown, and that can happen because of trauma to the eye. And I qualified for both of my eyes to have cataract surgery. So in August of the last year, I had my right eye done, and then 3 weeks later, I had my left eye done. And then about mid-November, I noticed in my right eye that I had like a film over it again. So I contacted the doctor who did the surgery, and they said, "Oh, that's normal. A lot of times scar tissue can form behind the cataracts, and it's just a simple laser, and we can get rid of it." However, when he was examining my right eye, he said, what happened is the scar tissue from the retinal tear that was repaired had detached and was still attached to the retina. I had to go see a retinal specialist. There's nothing he could do. So a week later, I saw the retinal specialist. He goes, "Well, the good news is it fully detached. So that way it's not at least pulling on the retina, but it might dissipate, it might not." So I'm very disappointed because I feel like I had cataract surgery for nothing, because this eye is really bad again. So, I don't know, if they could zap the scar tissue that would have been behind the cataracts, why can't they zap this scar tissue that came from the retina? So I don't know.
Okay. Let me get it on my radar. Let me get your eyeball on my radar and we'll see what's going on with your eye. Here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading up to you in Wisconsin. Got you. It's in your right eye. Looks to me like the vision is cloudy in the lower right quadrant. Is that what you're seeing?
Yes. And so,
Excuse me. Okay.
I got glasses for like up close reading, but it doesn't help.
Yeah.
When you have that film,
Yeah.
it's not going to help if you get glasses when you have a film.
Right. So, when, Dana, when you get a new cell phone and it comes with the plastic cover on the screen and you got to peel it off, that's what I'm watching happen. I'm watching that get peeled off of that lower quarter of that right eye. And then in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to remove that scar tissue. Scar tissue in the eye and throughout most of the body looks like, imagine kind of a fibrous material. It reminds me of a spider web, like a spider web strand, but it's thicker, it's more fibrous. And so I'm watching it get pulled out. And imagine that we grabbed a spider web and we pulled it all out at one time. That's what it looks like to me. There are strands that are coming out. Sometimes scar tissue can be in a blob, but yours is coming out in strands. So I'm watching that get removed. I'm watching stem cell energy go in behind the cataract on that retina. Light amber colored gel, sparkles, dippity-doo, watery gel, centrifuge. There's a vortex spinning in front of your eye. We're going to replace that new intraocular lens that was put in when you had the cataract surgery too. So I'm watching the lens that was put in your last surgery get removed. I'm watching another one get put in. It looks like a contact lens, basically. And then there's one little stitch on the outside corner of your eye that I'm watching. And there's a vortex that's spinning outside of your eye. And that is going to regenerate your whole eye. Now, what I'm doing is I'm lighting up your eyes because sometimes one can be up a little higher than the other one. It's pretty funny how this works. It reminds me of back in the day when headlights needed to be adjusted in the cars. Sometimes you had one headlight was up higher than another one.
Oh yeah.
So I watch an actual contractor's leveler that they'll put on a board to make sure it's level. And I'm watching that put it over the bridge of your nose, and I'm watching the eyes get lined up with that leveler so that you're seeing clearly. So hopefully that will help. Is Dana going to need more surgery on that eye? I get it may be a laser thing, but it's what the word I heard was it's a minute surgery. It's not like a big full-blown something, but they're going to be able to fix it and you'll get all your vision back.
Yeah,
I
how
believe.
it was described to me is when they repaired the retina, it's like putting super glue down to the eye. So
Yeah.
it's still considered a tear, even though they kind of like repaired it that way. So it was interesting to hear all of this, but anyway, well, thank you so much.
You are welcome. Did they put the gas bubble behind the retina while it was healing? That's very common that they'll put a gas bubble in the eye and then it dissipates over time and it helps the retina form properly as it's healing.
I don't know.
Does that ring a bell?
No.
No. Good. Okay. Well, as I'm looking through your eyes from the back of your head and I'm looking from behind out through your eyes themselves, you got clear vision.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm so
I
happy.
hope it helps. This will integrate this healing. It's already happened on the energetic level, Dana, and then it'll integrate into your body. That's how all these energetic healings work. And that can happen instantly. It can take days, weeks, months. It may need some kind of complementary care like surgery or whatever. But certainly it's always our spirit's prerogative to utilize a healing in a way that's going to best facilitate whatever it is we're exploring in this lifetime. And you know as well as anybody, no doctor, no healer like me, no medical provider heals anybody else. We all heal ourselves. That incision that was made to put that new intraocular lens in there in your eye, there was probably one little stitch that was put in there to hold it in place. That's pretty common. Well, the doctor doesn't make your eye heal. You make your own eye heal. So these visualizations that we can do, the body's going to follow what the brain tells it. So keep envisioning clear vision and go to the doctor too. But when you envision the clear vision, it's going to help your eye heal.
Thank you so much. You're wonderful.
You are most welcome. Oh, you too. Happy New Year.
Yes, you too.
Clear skies ahead, right?
That's right.
That's right. All righty. So our winner this month is somebody that calls themselves Sharon Donaldson 1080. And she left a review and she said, so much fun listening to Julie's show from 5 years ago. She's my favorite person in the entire world. Aw. And she was just as good back then as she is today. This woman is an angel. Well, I'm glad somebody thinks I am. How about that? So Sharon Donaldson, 1080, you are the winner of a free session with me. If you contact us through AskJulieRyan.com, just go on the Ask Julie page and say, hey, I want a free session. And then my assistant, Rachel, will help you find a date on my calendar and your calendar that works together. And I'll be thrilled to get you for a whole hour. And we can talk about whatever you want. If you're interested in being in the running for a free session, just leave a review. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can leave a review on YouTube. You can leave a book review on Amazon. Just, for any of my books, if you go to AskJulieRyan.com /books. Go to the books tab, leave a review on my books, leave a review on Instagram or Facebook, any one of my social media. Anywhere you leave a review, we choose from all of those different places. So if you want to enter the drawing, just leave a review. Hi, Patty.
Hi, Julie. How are you? I hope that you had a wonderful New Year.
I did. Wonderful holiday. I hope you did as well. Oh, thumbs down.
Yeah, Patty from Queens, New York. What happened was that on Saturday night, after dinner, my heart started to race, and it was very uncomfortable. Usually, I haven't felt that racing for more than 20 minutes in more than a year and a half at this point. So I went to the hospital. I begged them for an IV because I think that I was dehydrated. He says, no, you're fine. And they gave me IV anyway. Nothing was wrong. So I came home and I went back to the hospital a half hour later because when I came home, I felt feverish. My temperature was 99.5. When I went back to the emergency room, the nurse says, this is an anxiety attack because your temperature is 98.5. So they gave me a Tylenol and I waited. The doctor said to go home and I didn't want to go home. And then I requested a urine test because they didn't take a urine test. They said the doctor says I didn't need it. But after I had the bronchitis, after I took the antibiotics, every so often on and off, I felt a burning in my urine. So I said, okay, I don't drink enough water. Maybe that's what the problem is. So I asked them to please check my urine, and it came back that I had white blood cells. Tuesday morning, I woke up with a fever, 100, and my pulse 114. I went to the emergency room that morning, and they said, oh, there's nothing wrong. They checked my urine. My white blood cells went down, so the antibiotics I took did a great job. But they found that I had high protein in my blood and my urine, which didn't show 2 days earlier. And they gave me IV fluids, and now I feel better. But Tuesday I had a hard time peeing after I got the IV. So, I'm still scared if I have high protein in my urine.
Okay. So it sounds like you had a UTI. Did you have a urinary tract infection, Patty? That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, yeah, because it made me realize that I should have said something a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I took the antibiotics.
Let me get you. Yeah, let me get you on my radar, and we'll just irrigate out your urethra and get you all. Those things are so painful. They are awful.
I never
those
had
UTIs.
one. Never had one before.
Oh,
what is it? After I turned 60, bronchitis, UTI. What is it now? That everything I never got before is all coming. They decided to come now.
All right. So here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading up to you in Queens. All right, got you. Shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head. Yeah, your bladder still looks inflamed to me. So inflammation looks like red fog on body parts. So I'm putting anti-inflammation energy on there, which is a royal blue color. You know that. You've listened to the show for a long time. And so getting that calmed down. And then what I'm watching, there's this, I see this a lot, Patty, and it's like a really thick white salve. Reminds me of the what's that, Nivea cream in the blue jar?
Yeah, my mother. That's
that
from
really
Italy.
thick.
My mother had it. She had. Yeah.
That really thick face cream.
Yes.
And that's coating the inside of your bladder and also your urethra and all those urinary parts. That stuff is great because it has anti-inflammatory properties in it, and it's got some kind of rocket booster fuel in it to heal tender tissues. So I'm watching that. I believe what's going on with you is you're in the cycle of the leaky gut. You take the antibiotics whack your gut biome, and then it whacks your immune system because that's where the immune system's based. And then you get sick again, and then they give you more antibiotics, and then you're just on this hamster wheel. So What I would do is do a consult with Dr. Amasanti again. She's the goddess of the gut. Let's get your gut healthy, Patty. And then what we'll do is that will help your immune system recover, and you'll stop getting all these, irritating different illnesses that are just a pain and make you feel badly. That'll help a lot. dramasanti.com.
Yeah, but
and she'll be able to help you.
About spirit is that not nobody says I needed IV fluid, but something told me I needed IV fluid Saturday night.
Well, good.
Right.
You followed your intuition.
Right. And then something told me to say something about the urine, found out, then went back to the hospital. Why? And then all of a sudden I found that I had high protein, which could have been dangerous had, maybe if I didn't do anything about it. And what does it mean when you have high protein in your blood and urine? What does that mean?
Well, you know what, Patty, the bottom line with all of this is follow your intuition. Good for you that you did that, because we're the CEO of our bodies.
Yes.
And we know our bodies better than any doctor or medical provider or healer is ever going to know. So pay attention to those thoughts that come in. I'm so proud of you. You get a standing ovation for that, my girl. Good job. I sure hope you feel better. Happy New Year.
Thank you. And God bless you.
Okay. You too. All righty, everybody. That's it for this week. I appreciate everybody who's called in. If you want to join us, we do this every Thursday night. Just go to AskJulieRyanShow.com and we will get you on and get your questions answered. Sending you lots of love from Sweet Home, Alabama. Mwah. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow Julie on Instagram and YouTube at Ask Julie Ryan and like her on Facebook at Ask Julie Ryan. To schedule an appointment or submit a question, please visit AskJulieRyan.com.
This show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be medical, psychological, financial, or legal advice. Please contact a licensed professional. The Ask Julie Ryan Show, Julie Ryan and all parties involved in producing, recording, and distributing it assume no responsibility for listeners' actions based on any information heard on this or any Ask Julie Ryan shows or podcasts.